Alright, so let's talk about reducing fractions and simplest form. Both of these two are interrelated to each other, and that means that we can almost kind of flip-flop the way that we want to use both of those terms. Now, our vocabulary with this is a common factor. Common factor is a factor that has two or more numbers in common. Then we also have simplest form, which we're going to work with today, where the numerator and the denominator have no more common factors other than 1. And here's just a little note, also simplest form is find the equivalent fraction with the smallest numerator and denominator, or to reduce the number of parts or pieces. And then the one thing I want you to think about when you're thinking of reducing fractions to simplest form is I want you to think greedy. Like this kid with all this present, he wants all the presents to himself. So he wants to be able to share the most with the fewest amount of people. So let's go and let's look at some examples. Now, and here's some common equivalent fractions. Halves, fourths, eighths, and sixteenths are all common equivalent fractions because you can take a little box, just like this. You can split it in half. Then you can split it in half again to make fourths. Then you can split it in half again to make eighths. Then you can split those in half again to make sixteenths, which is why those fractions are commonly equivalent to each other. Let's look at one more. A third. So we can take a third, we can split it into 3 pieces. Then we can split it in half into 6 pieces. Then we can do the same thing again by splitting it into 12 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, now, and other common equivalent fractions are fifths and tenths, and also thirds and ninths. And we will look at some of those in class. Now, let's look at an example. Now, this time we want to use pictures and models to reduce this fraction. Right now, I want you to imagine this, like you're sharing pizza. Now, when you're sharing this pizza, right now you have it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Now, let's say that you want to reduce the size of the number of pieces that you're going to share. So let's look at our common equivalents. Our common equivalents, remember, are halves, fourths, and eighths. And right now our pizza is in 8 pieces. Well, fourths are commonly equivalent to eighths. So to reduce the size of this pizza, you make the pieces bigger. Instead of having 8 pieces, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. As you can see that we kept the pizza the same size, we just reduced the number of slices. From 8 to 4. But looking at our common equivalents, we can probably get a little bit smaller. And the smallest we can go is a half, 2 pieces. So we can reduce from 4 pieces to 2 pieces. You remember, when we're thinking about reducing fractions to simplest form, we're thinking greedy. Now, let's look at this Hershey bar. We have this Hershey bar split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 4/10. Holy smoke, y'all, I messed that up. Let me just erase that real quick. Let me get back on it. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10. So remember, we want to reduce this fraction to the simplest form that we can reduce it to. So we go back and we look at our common fractions, and we know that tenths and fifths are commonly equivalent to each other. So we go back to this and we look at our candy bar. So instead of saying I have to share my candy with 10 people, I can reduce the number of people I share it with by making those pieces a little bit bigger. And so instead of sharing with 10 people, I share with 5 people. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5. And like I said, we're going to be looking at a lot of examples of this in class. And then now, this time we're going to use common factors and division. So now we want to try to find out the factors that are common to both 8 and 12. Well, we have 2 times 2. I mean, not 2 times 2. We have 2 times 4, 1 times 8, and those are all the factors that make up 8. Then here we have 2 times 6, 4 times 3, 1 times 12. And we want to look for the greatest common factor. So what is the greatest common factor to 8 and 12? Well, we look at it, and 4 is common to both of them. So we go to our next step. We're going to take 8/12 divided by 4. We're going to take 12 and divide it by 4. And then that's going to give us 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. And that gives us a reduced fraction of 2/3, because we check it that 2 times 1 and 1 times 3, that 1 is the only factor that they have left in common with each other. And so that's going to be the end of our level. Well, one more example. 6/9. This one I want you to try to work on your own. And now that's the end of our lesson on reducing fractions to simplest form.